Ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure for you to meet one of the key industry figures, I feel, especially post-Brexit, whenever that gets sorted out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet
Jan-Willem Naerebout.
Now, we've got a problem here, because take this the right way. You and I aren't overly attractive, so we've got to spruce this up a bit to make sure we get as many views as possible. Do you know what's the most viewed thing on YouTube?
No.
Kittens. Do you know what the second most viewed thing is?
Dogs.
Yeah, okay.
Ah, great.
Right. So everyone wants to know how Storm's getting on. This is our Stormy. He's not quite a puppy now, is he?
No, it's every puppy.
Right, let's take him for a walk. Jumping down. Okay, Ian, off you go. So, Jan, you've got a really, really interesting background with a bit of a twist. So can you just tell everyone your background to date, please?
Okay, so really my background has always been operations, and operations in fresh produce. So in salads, in soft fruit, in potatoes, and it's always been factories, picking, packing, that sort of part. But of course, in the last few years, it's been very labor intensive, in soft fruit, etc. So the recruitment of people and management of people has all been part of that role in operations.
Yep.
And yeah, where you're sort of saying the twist is that actually I've now effectively left operations and gone fully into the people side of it.
Yeah, can you go back, because I think you've been tremendously brave, because myself and Ian, we meet a lot of people of our sort of age group who've got great retained knowledge, great networks, great ability, and I sometimes get frustrated. Don't know about you, Ian, that I think they could do so much more if they did something by themselves. But most people don't have the balls to do that. You have. So tell us in a bit more detail. Because in business, you're always trying to solve someone's problem with a solution. So what do you think is the problem out there, and what's the solution that you've created for everyone?
So it's without doubt that the problem is that there is a shortage of workers.
Yep.
And at the same time, just take that as a given, and there are a raft of reasons for that. And at the same time, there are not that many new entries into the market. So it has created a certain, demand within the customers saying, well, I need people. So from a purely business point of view, looking at that demand, that is actually quite an attractive part.
Yep.
And then Brexit has a bit of a double-edged sword, because on one part Brexit is causing all the pain not all, but quite a bit of the pain right now. But actually, if you look at post-Brexit, it will potentially have quite a lot of opportunities, because the pool of recruitment could well find itself outside the EU, or actually being Britain outside the EU anyway, it may be anywhere.
Yep.
So that on its own is quite attractive, and looking very closely at the current pilot of 2,500, that may well be the blueprint of where recruitment is going to go.
And help me, the 2,500?
So there's 2,500 work permits
being
provided for as a pilot, done by 2 professional operators, and they may become the blueprint of what recruitment will look like in a couple of years from now. And I think recruiters like myself are potentially, not only looking very closely, but also looking at the future in quite an exciting way. So at the moment it's tough, and I'd be lying to say it's not. It's really difficult to find people. It's really difficult to make sure that people are staying on the farms.
Yep.
The workers have got the power at this moment in time. There's without shadow of a doubt. But I think the balance is going to be a little bit different if the area of recruitment becomes bigger than just Europe. Okay. And that's quite.
But you do seem to be unique in the way that you've looked to source your workers. How's that been different?
It's a very, very simple and very direct model. And bear in mind, actually, the scale of the recruitment I do is relatively small.
Yep.
But it's a small team of people we have who are all part of Agri-Hr. I've got a team of people who are dealing with the worker side of it, and it's myself dealing with the customer side of it, and that is it really. So I have a really, really small chain. There's no other parties involved. There's no other, there's no other organizations involved. It's just us as a little team. We're dealing with the worker, we're dealing with the end user, and I think having a little bit of the understanding operationally what these guys need,
again, which is unique,
is actually a help engaging with quite a lot of the of the customers.
So who would be your ideal type of client, type of customer to work for? Just answer to the camera whilst I get a dog back. Stop, mate! Come here! Carry on.
So what's the ideal? I mean, for me, what is important is that because I'm building the business up, I need to have, I need to do the right job for my customers, but equally I need to build a reputation up, a brand up for the workers. So for me, what's the ideal customer? Well, the ideal customer is those customers who, have sophisticated methods of managing their labor and who are creative in retaining their labor, who are creative in engaging with their labor, who've got good facilities, in terms of accommodation facilities, and who have a really sound and fair business. I'm not just only talking about they have to be accredited by SMETA or ethical audit, but go beyond that. And there's a couple of my customers I have now, and they, they're just fantastic businesses because their engagement with the workers is just great, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. And what I want to align myself with, because that's how I can build my own brand. And I get word of mouth, and people are going, oh, I want to bring my friend to this farm, and I want to bring my family here, and you create an entity of trust.
Excellent. Okay, so it's the normal buzzwords that we've been using a lot in the last month: collaboration, partnerships, long-term relationships. So you've identified what the problem is. You potentially got the solution for a number of our clients in the fresh food sectors. So, because of that, say we'd highly recommend that you contact Jan to find out more.
That would be great, and you're talking about partnerships. It's about, our business is about being alongside people's existing recruitment methods, or even alongside their existing labour providers. But what we do here as customers is that there is a shortage, and where we can complement is actually hopefully filling that shortage. It's not about Agri-Hr wanting to take over, the entire supply of labour of a farm or whatever. It is about filling those gaps where the gaps are really painful for those businesses, and where we're able to help. And it doesn't have to be big numbers necessarily. We're quite flexible because we're so small as well as a business. So.
Well done. So definitely a man to watch, and his business. If you look at the links after this, or top or bottom, you can get in contact with Jan on that basis. I would love to have another conversation with you. Here it comes, post Brexit, just to see how this whole landscape is sorting out from your perspective, so that you can advise us on that basis.
Well, let's hope so.
Well done.
Good.
Well done.
Thank you. Cheers, Max.
Okay.